Well, hey guys, welcome back. Well, we got four more games down. The first set of game fives are in the book. Couple surprising, surprising results. And I guess a couple not well. One was I was hoping wouldn't have been, but we'll get into that. I thank you guys for being here. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. And if you're new, welcome. And hopefully you'll like the video. And if you like it, hit that like button. If you really like it, hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate the support. And I want to bring you all in. I want to have every hockey fan possible. Tune in and be a part of the channel. So, without any further ado, let's get into this. Game 5, the first game here, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Boston Bruins. Now, this was it was an interesting. This was kind of one of those games that was a little surprising, especially the end result. But it was still a pretty darn good game. A lot of back and forth. Not a whole lot of action. The first 5 minutes, but then at 6:11, it's Slavin with his second of the year from D'Angelo and Aho, and that puts the Canes up 1-0, and they kind of then went from there. Boston had some pressure. They tried to get they tried their darndest to tie the game up, but at 12:17 on the power play, it's D'Angelo from Teravainen and Trocheck. So that puts the Canes up 2-0. And that's how the first period ends. So we go to the first intermission. The Canes are up 2-0. And we go into the second period, where a lot of back and forth action. A lot of action. A lot of the Bruins were getting some good shots. The Canes were getting some good shots. And of course, the goaltenders were Ranta for the Hurricanes and Swayman for the Bruins. And at 15:52, a beautiful tip by Seth Jarvis at 15:52 from Aho and Teravainen. That's his second of the postseason. A beautiful goal. Absolutely beautiful. So that makes it 3-0 at the end of 2. So we go into the third. There's a little, there's a little action. There's back and forth again, and then the Bruins take a penalty, and then at 3:31 on the power play, it's Jarvis again with his third of the postseason. This one from Trocheck and D'Angelo. So that makes this 4-0. And you're thinking, holy, like wow. Carolina, they came out, they were on a mission tonight. They wanted to get that, they wanted to get that series lead back. They were up 2-0 and they let Boston come back. And they're like, we're not going back to Boston. So then of course the announcers go and talk about, it's not even halfway through the third period, and they're talking, Ranta's pitching Ranta's going to pitch a shutout tonight. And right when I heard them talk about Ranta and potentially having a shutout tonight, the thought that went through my head is, you just cursed him. You just jinxed him. And sure enough, 10:09 of the third, Clifton gets his first of the postseason from Holla and Hall. So that makes it 4-1. And there goes Ranta's potential shutout. And a beautiful goal by Clifton too. I mean, he made a nice move, skated around the dude, and I thought at first when I watched it in full speed, I thought he literally went around the one guy and then went right around Ranta and put it in. I mean, he was kind of making the move like he was going to go around Ranta, but right as he's making the move to go around, he snaps the shot and it beats Ranta. It was a beautiful goal, absolutely gorgeous. So more back and forth action. The Bruins. They scored that goal and it was big pressure, big time pressure. I mean, they were throwing the puck on Ranta. They were. I mean, it was hot and it was hot and heavy, and the Canes were trying to hang on. They really were. And as the pressure is picking up, the Bruins decide they're gonna get Swayman out of there. So they pull the goaltender, and at 16:20 of the third, it's Trocheck who buries it into the empty net from Necas and Teravainen. That makes the score 5-1. That is the final. The Hurricanes go up 3-2, going back to Boston. We still haven't had a road team win a game in this series yet. So, it's crazy. So it was a 5-1 win for the Canes. The power play of the Hurricanes went 2 for 5. The Bruins went 0 for 3. The shots were 12-8 Carolina in the first, 15-11 Carolina in the second, and then 15-11 Boston in the third. For a shot total of 38-34 in favor of Carolina. The power play, the Hurricanes went 2 for 5. The Bruins went 0 for 3. Ranta had a great game. Ranta saved 33 of 34. Swayman, I didn't think played that bad, but Carolina was proving just how bad they wanted it. Swayman stopped 33 of 37. The 3 stars, as said on the NHL app, were the first star was first star they said was Ranta, which I can see that, and then Jarvis number 2 and D'Angelo number 3. So I mean, you got Jarvis definitely, Ranta I could definitely see, and I was looking there at D'Angelo and I'm like, D'Angelo really? But D'Angelo had a couple. He had a goal and 2 assists, so I think he definitely deserved to get that 3rd star. So Carolina goes up 3-2, going back to Boston, that game will be on Thursday. And can a road team win a game in this series? I don't know. We'll have to find out. The second game. This one, I'll tell you, they've got a chance to rewrite, to rewrite the narrative here that they're the big choke artists. They're 1 win away from finally doing something that they haven't done since 2004, and they've put the 2-time defending champions in a situation that they're kind of not used to. They haven't been in this situation since they haven't been in a situation like this since at least 2019. Where this one, they have to win to force the 7th game. Last year when they played the Islanders, they were up 3-2, and the Islanders forced the 7th game. So this is a new territory for the Tampa Bay Lightning over the last couple of years. So let's get into this. The first period starts out. The Maple Leafs, they're got some decent puck control, but then they go and Tampa Bay goes, they make a move, and Stamkos buries one at 5:19 of the first from Palat and Kucherov, and that makes it 1-0 in favor of Tampa. And you're thinking, oh boy, here we go. And then not even a minute later, because after that goal, Toronto takes a penalty, and then on the power play, it's Hedman with his second of the postseason from Kucherov and Killorn at 6:11 of the first, and that puts them up 2-0. And you're thinking, Tampa's not really going to blow a 2-0 lead, right? Right? Well, we go into the second period. Tampa's up 2-0. Second period starts. Tampa takes a penalty, and then Tavares on the power play at 3:35 of the second, he gets the Leafs on the board from Nylander and Giordano. The captain Tavares gets the Leafs on the board. It makes it 2-1, and the Leafs have life. And we go, we come out of the second period. It's still 2-1, but the Leafs have got, they've got the momentum. And Tampa is they're hanging on for dear life. So the third period starts. Toronto comes out fast and furious. Tampa's still, Tampa had a couple of attempts in there, but it's Riley at 3:01 from Tavares and Nylander. Riley's second goal of the postseason ties the game at 2, and they're going nuts in Toronto. I mean, just absolutely insane. I mean, they were practically blowing the roof off inside and outside. They were just going crazy. So they tie the game at 2. And then a little over a minute after that one, Toronto takes the lead. It's Nylander, his third of the year, from Mikheyev and Hall at 4:14. And Toronto has a 3-2 lead. And you're like, what in the world just happened? You're like, Tampa was up 2-0 and they blew really? Very uncharacteristic of the two-time defending champions. But Toronto is in the lead. It's 3-2 Leafs. And then at 8:17, McDonough gets his first of the year with just a snipe from Colton and Paul that ties the game at 3 apiece. And you're thinking, okay, you're thinking maybe this is where Tampa finally they take over and they say, all right, it's time to put the hammer down. No, it is the Leafs at 13:54, and absolutely, Marner takes the shot. Vasilevsky makes the save, kicks out a big, juicy rebound right to Austin Matthews, who buries it at 13:54 from Marner and Bunting. That makes it 4-3 Leafs, and they hang on. The Leafs hang on. The Leafs win 4-3 to take a 3-2 lead on the two-time defending champion Lightning. Oh boy. And of course, I got a couple of friends of mine who are humongous Leaf fans. They are, to say that they are pumped is an understatement. And I'll tell you, if they can find a way to knock out the defending 2-time champs, holy cow. Absolutely incredible. So the shots in the first were 14-4 in favor of Tampa. Controlled the first period. Just dominated the first period. Second period, the Leafs come out and outshoot them 14-9. And then in the third, Tampa outshoots them 12-7. So Tampa has 35 shots, Toronto 25 shots. The power play, the Leafs go 1 for 6, the Lightning go 1 for 5. Vasilevsky saves 21 of 25. Kind of, maybe a little uncharacteristic for, the reigning Conn Smythe Trophy winner. But yeah, he went 21 for 25. And Jack Campbell, 32 of 35. And just an incredible comeback win for the Leafs. And yeah, they've got the defending 2-time champs on the ropes in a situation that they're not used to. You don't see Tampa on the ropes that often, at least especially over the last couple of years. But again, a lot of people could say, because Tampa, they've played a lot of hockey the last couple of years. You win 8 straight series in a row. It's hard. It's hard to keep that going. So that game will be on Thursday. Can they do it? Can they go into Tampa and put the Lightning away and advance to the second round for the first time since 2004? We'll see. That game again will be on Thursday. And now, go and switch pages here. This one was my kind of depressing game. It's the Game 5 of St. Louis and Minnesota. Now, we all know I'm here, I live in Minnesota. I am a Wild fan, obviously. And, we had some chances. We had some chances, and we just, it's that Minnesota luck, I swear. But, and the Wild just, I don't know, you cannot continue to take penalties against the St. Louis Blues. First period starts, a lot of back and forth action. The Fleury's made a couple of saves. Binnington, Binnington is in goal again for the second straight game. And we're seeing the Jordan Binnington of 2019. This is what led, this is the Jordan Binnington that led the Blues to the Stanley Cup, to the Stanley Cup championship in 2019. So it's Binnington and Fleury, and again, the Wild, you cannot take penalties against this Blues team. The Blues power play is deadly. The Wild special teams, their penalty kill is not that good. And on the power play at 4:53, it's O'Reilly with his 4th of the year from Schenn and Perunovich on the power play at 4:53. Puts the Blues up 1-0. Really quiets that crowd. But then they go, furious action up and down the ice. Then the Blues take a penalty. And on that penalty, on the power play at 13:15, it is Kirill Kaprizov, the Thrill, that's one of his nicknames here. From Spurgeon and Fiala, his 6th goal of the postseason. He is just, he's lighting it up. He looks so good. And I think back to the video that I did. The first 7 games, he had no points. And people around here were saying, he's a bum. He's not worth that. He's not worth that contract. And I had said, settle down. Be patient. That's a long series. He's been over. He's got to get acclimated again. And from that point on, he just missed getting 50 goals by, I think, 2. And he was the Wild's first 100-point scorer in their franchise history. So, so Kaprizov gets that crowd just rocking. And then after that, again, the Blues they take a penalty. And then at 17:07 on the power play again, it's Kaprizov again. His 7th of the postseason from Fiala and Zuccarello. And he is something else to watch. And I've said to friends of mine around here that he's the cornerstone. Build around him. If you put the right pieces around him, you could have a team that could make some noise in the future. So the first period ends. The Wild are up 2-1 after the first period. The crowd is hyped. I'm hyped. And I'm thinking, if we can get some more momentum. Well, who necessarily would have thought that after Kaprizov got that second goal, the Wild wouldn't put the puck in the back of the net the rest of the game. In the second period, the first 15 minutes, a lot of shots, no goals, but at 15:28, it is Saad with a beautiful redirect from Kyrou and Thomas. That ties the game for St. Louis. That's Saad's first of the postseason. That ties the game for the Blues, so it's 2-2 after 2 periods. And then in the third period, it's literally like the Blues, either the Blues said, all right, let's put this out of reach, or the Wild were just like, just like, because they come out of that third period in the Wild, they just fell flat on their face. At 1:03, a little over a minute into the third period, it is Tarasenko at 1:03 from Buchnevich and Falk. And who would have thought, that's going to be, a big moment for Tarasenko. And then a little over almost a minute and a half later, it's Tarasenko again. His second goal of the night, 3rd overall of the postseason from Barbashev and Falk. That puts the Blues up 4-2. And that pretty much ices the game. That pretty much just ices the game. The crowd went quiet, and that pretty much ended the game. But the Wild pull the goaltender, down by 2, you're pulling the goalie early. And then Tarasenko with the natural hat trick. His 3rd goal of the night, 4th on the postseason, into the empty net at 18:27 from Buchnevich. And that makes it 5-2. And that's your final. The St. Louis Blues come into Minnesota and they win Game 5. And now the Blues have a chance to move on to the second round and play the Colorado Avalanche on home ice on Thursday. And me being the Wild fan, I hope it can make it back here to the XL Center for Game 7. But they're gonna have to find a way to go into St. Louis and win a big game. So So, yep, the Blues have a chance to eliminate the Wild on home ice on Thursday. The shots were 12-9 Minnesota in the first, 11-11 in the second, and then the Blues were up in shots 12-9 in the third. For a shot total, they were even in shots, 32 apiece for the Blues and the Wild. The power play, the Blues went 1 for 2. The Wild went 2 for 2. And the saves, Fleury stopped 27 of 31. And Binnington, he's looking like the Jordan Binnington from a couple years ago. He saves 30 of 32. And the Blues, they're one win away from playing Colorado. And then we go the last game of the night. This was a good game. Really good game. Game 5, the Kings and the Oilers. And I figured coming into this series, this was going to be a really good game, or a really good series. And it's been really good. So, first period, at 3:53, Stetcher gets his second of the postseason from Edler. At 3:53, puts the Kings up 1-0. And there was furious end-to-end action, a lot of shots, no more goals. So the first period ends, it's 1-0 LA. Second period starts, and Edmonton comes back, and they tie the game at 2:32. It's Cassian from McDavid and Kulak. I think I said that right. Yeah, Kulak. So at 2:32, the Oilers tie the game, and it's 1-1. Then it goes another, almost 7 minutes, and then LA takes the lead back. It's Kempe at 9:29 from Kopitar and Iafallo, and that's got the Kings up 2-1, and the Kings they're feeling good. And then just a couple minutes later, at 13:34, it is Athanasiou from Dustin Brown, and the Kings are up 3-1. And here's the Oilers again. The Oilers, man, I don't know, McDavid, Draisaitl, those boys. Could this be another one of them years that they get bounced? That they get bounced early in the playoffs. Who knows? So the second period ends. It is 3-1 Los Angeles. So the third period starts, and not long into the period, LA takes a penalty, and on the power play, it is McDavid with his second of the year at 2:50 from Hyman and Draisaitl. That makes it 3-2. So they're close. So they've gotten closer. But then almost there. Then there's no other scoring for a little over 8 minutes after that, and then the Oilers then take a penalty, and on the power play at 11:06, it's Danault with his third of the year from Kempe and Dursey, and that makes it 4-2. And you're thinking, well, 4-2, that's pretty, game's over, right? Not so fast. Then the Oilers take another penalty, but this time at 12:33, a shorthanded goal. It's Draisaitl unassisted, his fourth of the year. That makes it 4-3. So they get a shorthanded goal to narrow it to 4-3. And then not long after that, the Kings take a penalty. And then at 15:08, it's Draisaitl from McDavid and Nugent Hopkins. And that ties the game at 4 apiece. And furious end-to-end action the rest of the way. No more goal scoring in the third. We go to overtime. It did not last long. A minute 12 into overtime, it is Kempe again with his second goal of the postseason from Stetcher, and the Kings in overtime win 5-4, and they take a 3-2 series lead, and they have a chance to advance to the second round, the divisional finals, on their home ice on Thursday. So here's the Oilers. Their backs are against the wall again. And boy. And the shots, of course, the Kings dominated the first period 16-5. It was even in the second period at 9-9. And then the Kings won in the shot department again, 16-14. And they ended up outshooting the Oilers 43-28. And the Kings went 1 for 5 on the power play. The Oilers went 2 for 3 on the power play. And Smith saved 38 of 43. Quick saved 24 of 28. And I noticed I forgot to put down the shots in overtime. With a minute 12 in, I can't imagine it was a whole lot. So, and if I do the math here, 14, 23, 20. Okay, so Edmonton didn't have a shot in the overtime, while the Kings 16, 32, 41. Okay, so the Kings would have had the Kings would have had the advantage in the overtime, 2-0 in shots, and they put the one in. So the Kings are up 3-2 in that series. 3 stars are Kempe, McDavid, and Draisaitl. Oddly enough, Kings win the game, but 2 of the 3 stars are Oiler players, are McDavid and Draisaitl. So, the NHL app, putting 2 of the 3 stars from the losing team. So they're so that wraps up those 4 games, and I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think's going to happen? Can the Maple Leafs do this? Can they get this done? Can they go into Tampa and win Game 6 and finally, overcome that demon that's been in their head for years? What do you think? Can the Leafs pull it off? This to me, even though they are the higher seed, to me, they pull this off. This to me would be an upset, even though they are a higher seed. With everything that the Leafs have gone through, I think a lot of people would consider it, a little bit of an upset to knock out the defending 2-time champions. If they're able to do that, sky's the limit for the Toronto Maple Leafs then, if they can pull it off. So let me hear your guys' thoughts on these 4 games, and let me know. Who do you guys think is gonna end up winning Game 6 in these Game 6s? And of course, we have four more. The other 4 Game 5s are on tomorrow, and I don't think I'll be home. I'm not sure if I'll be home to watch a lot of the games. Hopefully, I'll be able to tune into at least a couple of them, or at least bits and pieces, because we got some stuff that that we have to do tomorrow. But yeah, I look forward to seeing those other Game 5s. And again, let me know your guys' thoughts. Who do you guys think is going to win these game sixes on Thursday? Who do you think is going to end up winning? You know, who's going to go up 3-2 tomorrow? Or who's going to end up potentially knocking out another opponent? Because the Penguins have a chance to knock out the New York Rangers tomorrow. Can the Penguins knock out the Rangers tomorrow? Or do the Rangers force a game 6? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. Let me know that. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. I thank you guys so much for being here. And again, you know, if you're new and you've just seen this video or one of my other videos for the first time, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, hit like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support. I love to have you all be here. And Stanley Cup playoffs. There's a reason why this is my favorite time of the year. I mean, I've said this to friends for years. This is without a doubt my favorite time of the year, and it's so much fun. And I will again hit like and subscribe. If you're just cruising on through and you're liking what you see, let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on the on these 4 games tonight, and the ones for tomorrow. And I will see you guys again very soon.